Let's talk about a number of inmates on Rikers Island are getting an early release. At least that's according to the New York Post. They are reporting that Mayor de Blasio is letting them out due to a shortage of corrections officers. Joining me now to discuss this and more that's facing New York City, Police Commissioner Dermot Shea. Nice to have you back on Good Day New York.
Oh, thanks for having me, Rosanna.
So, Police Commissioner, what do you know about this report about early release for inmates on Rikers Island? I know that you've been here before complaining about bail reform. Now there's an early release for people who may be repeat offenders.
Well, my latest information is that it's not accurate, Rosanna, and I certainly hope that's the case. You know, I would not be for that in any way, shape, or form. I tell you, when you go around New York City and you get a mouthful from New Yorkers, generally they tell you the opposite: get these criminals off the streets. So I certainly hope that's not the case. I mean, as it is, it's extremely hard to get criminals into Rikers Island, and the last thing I would want to see is more criminals being released.
So do you think the mayor would come to you and tell you that he was going to do this, or would he just do this on his own?
No, it would be a collaborative effort, I'm sure. And as I said, my information is that the story is not accurate, and I certainly hope that's the case.
Especially with shootings and assaults on the rise here in New York City. Tough weekend in the Bronx. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, well, you know, we look at the city as a whole, and then we zero in on some spots. I mean, certainly right now, in the Bronx, with about a third of the city's shootings, you know, it's a bit of a problem. You know, a lot of work going on up there. Great confidence in the men and women that are working on the issue in terms of the police deployment up there. But certainly, particularly Saturday night, Sunday, I was up in the Bronx myself, checking out on the ground what it looks like. You know, spoke to some cops. The work is there. It's just we're going to need a little bit more of the criminals off the streets, if you know what I mean, Rosanna, in terms of what we saw. And listen, every loss of life is tragic. And you know, particularly I saw an article with the North Bronx with Wakefield, a number of shootings over the weekend. So we have more work to do.
Speaking of repeat offenders, let's talk about that subway pusher, I guess that you would call him. He attacked a deaf woman on the subway, and as you know, many people are afraid to ride the subway to begin with, and then this guy apparently has quite a history.
Well, yeah, I mean, that was a horrific attack, and what I fear here, Rosanna, is we can't fall into a place where like this is normalized, where that's accepted behavior. Anytime it happens, it's terrible, particularly to an innocent woman that's just going to work or going to church in this case, I think it was. When you hear that it happened 4 days before, that's when my blood gets to boil now. And you know, when you look at like laws that make us release individuals before they even go to a judge, you just shake your head. So, you know, overall, when you look at transit, Kathy O'Reilly is doing a phenomenal job. When you look at the overall crime numbers in transit, they're actually very strong. We just got to work on these isolated cases where, you know, everyone, I think, can take a look at this and say, wait a second, he assaulted somebody 4 days earlier, and now he's still on the street doing it again. And those are the ones where you say, that can't be what we expect.
I totally understand that, and that's why it concerns, I guess, a lot of us that there may be an early release, although you're saying it's not happening at Rikers Island right now. I hope you're right, Police Commissioner, and they're keeping you in the loop. Can we talk about the men and women of your police department and how they risk their own life trying to save people who were in basement apartments after Hurricane Ida blew through this area? There is footage of some of the EMTs going down there and trying to save people in basement apartments that were flooded during this time. Are your men and women okay?
They are. We made it through that without any significant injuries, thank God. You know, some of those videos released, when I watched that one particularly of the officers, really, Rosanna, you put yourself in their shoes and what they were going through, and you can see the desperation there and trying to do everything possible. And really, I couldn't believe it when I think it's the first time I ever saw an underwater body camera. It's just heart-wrenching. And when you look at the loss of life, you know, I was out at many of those scenes. You put yourself really, at least I do, in what the people were going through and the desperation. And it's just, you know, hopefully we take a look at the whole thing as a city and do everything possible that, God forbid, that should ever happen again.
Well, we thank them for their efforts. Can we talk a little bit about Michael K. Williams? Do we have any new information? Because, you know, we're hearing it's a drug overdose, and there are so many reports of fentanyl poisoning. We hear about it on Long Island. We hear about it in Los Angeles over the weekend. Do we know anything whether fentanyl played any kind of part in his passing?
It's too early to say that. We'll be working with the medical examiner in terms of cause of death. Very sad, and I say that from someone that spoke to and met Michael earlier this year. Just such a tragic case, Rosanna, where you know, somebody in his prime of his life, really tremendous actor, but a great person. And you know, we had met and trying to collaborate on doing things with the police department with him. Earlier this year, he was in this very office that I'm sitting in, and we had conversations. And you know, you just look at prime cut down really like that. It's just a tragedy. We'll work with the medical examiner in terms of official cause of death. Right now, there's nothing suspicious about the death. Gotcha.
Can we talk about heightened security, 9/11, just a few days away? What can you tell us? Is there anything we should be concerned about, especially with all the chaos in Afghanistan right now?
Yeah, it's hard to believe that 4 days, it'll be 20 years since that day. It's certainly the 20-year anniversary is something that we're keenly aware of. We're going to have a very robust counterterrorism presence out in New York City, not just that day, Rosanna, but the days leading up to it as well. And I would just call on all New Yorkers here. You know, this is, again, you hear that term shared responsibility, and this is exactly what we talk about. So it's kind of a community response here. If you see anything suspicious anywhere, whether it's on the trains, whether it's on the streets, you know, whether it's walking around Times Square or just in your day-to-day interactions, let a police officer know, and that's the message. At this point in time, the most important thing to know is there is no credible threats against New York City, but that doesn't mean that we're going to let our guard down one bit. In fact, we know we can't.
When you say no credible threats, but you do have the run-of-the-mill threats you have every day that you, I guess, have to decipher
Rosanna,
through.
Yeah, this is New York City. So that's how we approach it. It's New York City. You don't have to go too far back in terms of whether it's threats that we've successfully interrupted, threats against, as we saw on 9/11. We haven't forgotten 1993. So, you know, it's New York City, and that's why, you know, we rely on our counterterrorism efforts so well with our partners as well. So there is a very robust working relationship between us, the FBI, and all our federal partners, as it should be. And that should put New Yorkers at ease.
Thank you, Police Commissioner Shea, and thank you to all in your department who are out there keeping us safe in the coming days. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Rosanna.
All right.